energy where I have the pleasure to talk to some dynamic people. And today, like always, we have another wonderful person and another author. This has been my lucky time, just interviewing authors this week. We have with us Cadori Brand. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I am fantastic. So tell all of our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Cadori. I started my brand about 3 years ago with a charity. I'm a registered nurse by profession, but I have a ton of businesses that I do. One of them is a clothing line that inspires people. It's called I Love Me. And right now we have hoodies and t-shirts just to promote self-love and self-esteem. I also am an author. I just published a Amazon #1 bestseller this past month, and it's an inspirational book for women titled "Ladies Love Yourselves First." That's happiness.
Oh, all right, all right. So, what are you unapologetic about in this moment?
Oh my gosh, there's like a ton of things 'cause I've had to kind of revisit myself and reinvent myself from going through a really bad divorce about 3 years ago. But right now, I'm unapologetic about being who I am to the core. Like, I don't try to put on airs for anybody. What you see is what you get. I'm not trying to please anybody else. I'm just living my full self.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What does living your full self look like? What does that really mean to Kadori?
For me, it just means that who I am, I stand for kindness and love, and I love to help people. So when in the past, I'll just break it down. When I used to help people, I used to feel a little bit nervous about it or a little ashamed because people would come and say, "Why are you always smiling?" or "Why are you always helping people?" And I wasn't able to fully authenticate or verbalize why. Now I can say that, well, this is who I am. I'm a kind and caring person, and this is part of my purpose.
Okay, so why was it tough then? You was giving so much of yourself to people. So why was that so hard to verbalize?
I think it was because of it goes back to how you're raised, a lot of it. And I was just raised in an environment where my mom, for instance, she didn't really have a voice in our household. My dad made all the decisions. And you were just taught that just, men can make the decisions. You need to go by what they make, and you need to just fall in line. Pretty much like society is. A lot of stuff was created and invented by men, and the rules were made by men. And it's kind of like, just be quiet and do it. So
Okay.
my attitude all those years was a little bit out of fear, that I was afraid to speak my mind and what I believed in. And now I'm not.
Okay. And so now you are liberated. How does that make you feel? What does that do for you now in how you move about in your relationships with different people?
It just makes me feel like what I have to say and what I believe in is just as important as the other person. It always has been, but I never thought about it or never just really fully walked into it and engaged into it. So now, for instance, if I'm conversating with someone or in a meeting, I feel like that my opinion, that's who I am, that means something, and that voice should be heard and not silenced.
Okay. Do you find it hard to put boundaries up now, or is that much more easier for you now that you can just really be yourself?
It's much more easier to be myself, and I do put up boundaries, and I learned through the transition of becoming my full self that the word no means a lot,
Mm.
and that I have to stand on that. And when I say no, that means no, and I don't have to explain myself. I can just go off of, this is no, and I don't have to give an explanation for it.
Okay, so you talked about your past and now that you are liberated in this really good space, you wrote a book about getting to this space of self-love. Let's
Yes.
talk about your book a little bit because it does really give context to this big shift that you made in your life. So tell me about a little bit about your book, or your viewers about your book. I know about it. So
Well, the title of the book, here it is Ladies Love Yourselves First. That's happiness. And this book, I wanted to write it a long time ago, but I was in a very abusive marriage. It was mostly mental abuse, but some physical abuse. And so what I noticed was, over the years in the professional nursing, you come across a lot of different type of patients. But I noticed that women, no matter the race, the income level, or culture, we all had a lot of the same stories. And a lot of the stories were that, we're fearful, we're afraid to live our purpose. We feel like we can't make decisions, that the men need to make the decisions, things like that. I kept hearing that over and over again over the years. So when I went through the divorce and I decided to do something to empower women, I said, you know what, I'm going to tell my truth and put it in this book. And hopefully by me telling my story and some challenges and things that I went through, that will help empower women to live their purpose and be their full selves unapologetically.
Okay. And so how has the reception of the book been?
It's been awesome. Everywhere I go, like every week almost, I get to talk to a group of ladies, whether it's somebody I know personally or through a group. And they always, agree with a lot of things that I say that I've been through. Because, like I said, we've been through a lot of the same things. And they feel empowered by it. And they're always like, thank you for saying that. Or I thought I might have been one of the only ones dealing with that. Or, things like that. That's very inspirational to them.
So there's a lot of strong points in your book. And so for people who have not read your book yet, what are you hoping that the message that they get as they read your book that they can take away and utilize for their own lives?
I hope that women, and men can read it too, but I'm really empowering women, but men can read it. I hope that the reader will get out of it that I hold the keys to my happiness, that it doesn't matter if anybody else buy you gifts, take you on trips, do nice things for you. That can add to your happiness, but true happiness really comes when you accept yourself and you believe in yourself and you love yourself first. So I hope that they walk away knowing that I hold the keys to my happiness and I can make myself happy. And, that's just my choice and that's who I can be. So that's what I want them to walk away with.
Okay, that's so awesome. So your book is somewhat heavy, even though it's inspirational.
Yeah.
You put a lot in there. It's like you poured a lot about your personal life in there. How
Yeah.
does it make you feel now that you just like emptied your soul out to the world for people to see you naked, so to speak? Not naked physically, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think when you go through something that's traumatic, like for me, it was a divorce after 24-year marriage and finding out things about the person that I thought I knew, I was really stripped down. I had to kind of come from, I fell down. So I
Mhm.
pick myself up and rebuild myself. And in doing so, I had to learn to embrace myself and everything about myself. Yeah, I made mistakes. Who hasn't made mistakes? So I'm like, you know what? This first chapter is going to be called mistakes. I'm going to put it right out here. Because what happens is we put on this shield and this facade to the public for who? Who are we doing it for? Everybody has done something, whether you know about it or you haven't. And I know this from myself. I know this from being a nurse. I know this. So I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? I'm going to let people know some challenges I had, and I overcame those challenges. And I'm not ashamed of any part of my life because those things help make me who I am today. And people shouldn't be ashamed if you learn from it and you're better now. That's called your testimony. That's the Bible. So we wouldn't have a Bible if everybody was perfect.
Yeah, that's so true. And so you also, you have children. And so what has been their perception of you putting yourself out there, and now they get to really learn about mom? What has that
They're
been like for them?
they're really proud. They're happy that I didn't give up, because I've been through two divorces, my first set of kids, one marriage, and my last set of children, another marriage. And they're happy that I didn't give up. They're happy that I'm able to live my purpose and be who I am, authentically to myself. So they learn something reading the book too. Because, when you sit down and tell your kids about your life, you don't tell them everything. But when you write a book, you have to really dig deep if you're telling the truth and bring things forward. So they were happy to learn some things about me, and they were happy that I was able to do it the way I wanted to.
Oh, I think that's so special and so
Mhm.
so where can people buy your book? Where can they connect with you at? What do you have going on? What's next, for Cadori?
All right. The book can be purchased if you like online, Amazon.com. If you like an autographed copy, you can go to my website, Cadori, that's CADORI.net, and I can autograph a copy and mail it to you. What I have next is just different interviews with different empowerment women groups coming up over the next couple of months. Most everything that I'm doing is going to be virtual, because of, we're still dealing with some COVID in, areas. So everything is virtual. So if you follow me on social media, everything is on the Cadori brand. So
Okay, so that's how they can reach out. And so, really quick before I let you go, give 3 words of wisdom to empower women. That's going to, it's Women Crush Wednesday. It's Working Woman Wednesday. So, give
yeah.
3 nuggets to women to inspire them on this day.
One thing that I would say women should do is wake up in the morning and learn how to say something positive to yourself. So when you wake up, what I do is I have positive affirmations everywhere. I just tell myself, "Hey girl, you're killing it today. You're going to have a great day." So I wake up telling myself positive things because you're going to be listening to yourself. So you have to tell yourself positive things. Number 2 is when you're making out your to-do list for everybody else, your job, your family, make sure you take time to put yourself on there to do something for you, whether that is meditating or going for a walk or window shopping. That special time with yourself is actually pouring into yourself. So telling yourself positive things, making time for yourself, doing things just for you. And then number 3, I would say just pray and keep the faith, because when you pray, that's one thing, but having the faith is another leg. So pray and believe as if it's already happened, because that's kind of like manifesting it into your life.
Okay, well, thank you so much for swinging by. All of you, check out her book, check out all her merch, everything that she is doing to empower the community for both women. And even though it's mostly for women, men, you can always learn something. And,
Yeah.
there's always a takeaway for everybody when,
Yes.
especially with greatness. So, you know, tune in for the next episode. And that was your unapologetic moment with Dr. G.